Welcome back to another episode of Flagrant Foul Fridays. This is episode 28. We are back with me. My name is Nick. I'm one of your hosts, and our other host is a recently graduated man, Christian.
Yeah, I forgot about that, but it's true.
Get any words of wisdom?
Uh, no, no words of wisdom.
Well, today we have a special segment. Keep four, cut four. You've probably seen it all over the internet, so we don't really need to explain that. We got some more playoff news as per usual regarding NHL and NBA. We're almost to the finals for both, and we got a little bit of ball in order involving Joey Chestnut, but you'll have to stick around and listen for that.
Let's get right into our special segment. So, like Nick said, it is keep four, cut four. We're gonna have a list of 8 players, and it's blind, so we don't know who we're getting. And we're gonna keep 4 of them and cut 4 of them, and then at the end, we're gonna discuss if we think we made the right choice or not. Now, in order to keep this blind, I ended up asking my brother for some help. So my brother, shout out Rick, created 3 categories for us. And so the first category is players over the age of 34, or actually, I think it's 34 plus. So they can be 34 or older. The second category is players who are currently still in the playoffs. So that would be Spurs, Knicks, and Thunder. And then the last category is 7-foot players. I don't know if that means 7 foot exactly or 7 foot plus, but we will find out nonetheless.
You said these were all current players.
Yeah, it's all current players. All right, so let's jump right in. Our first player is James Harden.
I think there's too many good players 34 plus to keep James Harden.
Yeah, there's some bad ones though too, like people that are just still in the league but not very good anymore.
I think we can, if you want to, we can keep him. Just because we don't know if he put like,
Well, here's my thinking, right? Obviously, he's a good player, but realistically, I don't think he's going to win us a championship. So I would be okay with cutting him, to be honest.
all right, yeah, I'm okay with cutting him.
Because here's the thing, even if that's a bad cut, I honestly would rather have worse players than him if it means having a chance at a championship.
Yeah,
All right, so yeah, we're gonna cut James Harden. Next player, DeMar DeRozan.
I think I could keep DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, even if he's coming off the bench, he'll give you 15, 20 points.
And he's one of those players that has been consistent, but he hasn't like, I don't know. He's like
It
been really
feels weird
consistent.
taking him over James Harden, but I'm afraid if we cut him, we're gonna cut all of our best options.
Hmm.
So yeah, I agree. I think we should take him. All right, next player, Draymond Green. I mean, what he brings to a team is pretty valuable. Leadership, defense, assists.
Yeah, and plus we don't know how many other players are on this list that are worth keeping.
I feel like, unlike James Harden, you put Draymond on any team, he's always going to have some sort of impact. I think we could take him, honestly.
Because if we think about 34 plus players that he could give us, you still got Curry, Durant, and LeBron.
True. But he also might not. I kind of wish we didn't take DeMar now.
I'm okay with taking DeMar over Draymond though.
Yeah, I guess we can cut him. That feels bad, but I think it's probably worth the risk if we get Curry or LeBron. Next up, Russell Westbrook. I feel like we gotta cut him.
Yeah,
A few years ago,
yeah.
easy
If this
pick.
was if this was players in their prime and not current, I think we would have kept Harden and Westbrook over DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, probably. All right, next, Nick Batum.
I didn't even know he was still in the league until we saw that post about a month ago.
I
So
feel like we
obviously
gotta
that's a
cut him,
cut.
right? Now I'm getting scared.
So we already have three cuts.
Jeez. All right, we get one cut, so we have to be smart now. Kawhi Leonard. We gotta take him.
Oh wait, no, we cut Russell Westbrook, so we're down to no cuts.
Oh, we're out of cuts?
Yeah, we cut Russell Westbrook and Nicholas Batum.
Oh, all right, fair enough. That's fine though. We ended up getting Kawhi, who honestly gives us the defense that we wanted with Draymond, but honestly a better scorer if he can stay healthy. That means we have to take this next player, Steph Curry.
Hey, look at
Hey,
that!
I think we did pretty good.
Now we just have one more player.
James Harden was kind of a red herring, I think. I don't know if DeMar was our best pick, but we're about to find out. Mike Conley.
Oh, hey, Mike Conley isn't bad though.
Not the best, but honestly, you can build around him like as a bench player.
I
He can
feel
kind
like
of run the offense a little bit.
I feel like James Harden and Mike Conley are interchangeable.
Currently, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I think personally I would have rather had Draymond than Mike Conley, but other than that, I think we got a pretty good list.
Yeah, I think that was a good start.
On to the next players who are currently in the playoffs. Now, this is going to be tough because there's a lot of bench players and there's a lot of starters. So it's hard to know what he's going to pick for us. Number one, Josh Hart. Instant take. The amount of three-pointers he's been providing to his team has been insane.
Yeah, but we also got Wemby and Cat. And
Yeah, but there's no guarantee that he's going to give us those, and I don't think you can go wrong with Josh Hart. He'll give you 5 three-pointers a night in the playoffs.
all right, we can keep
I think
him.
he's averaging over 20 points. All right, next, Stephon Castle. While I do like Stephon Castle, I don't think he's going to be the best options for us.
He's averaging 12 points.
Yeah, but I do like the intensity he brings to the game. But as we've seen and we're going to talk about later, he's not as versatile as other players. If you take him out of his role, put him at point guard, like when De'Aaron Fox was hurt, he is a turnover machine. So honestly, I don't hate that. So yeah, we're cut him, unless you have an argument otherwise.
You know,
Next up, Jared McCain.
he's been doing pretty good
He's been
for
doing
the
really good
player.
for a bench player, but I don't know how many starters we're going to end up getting.
I think I'd rather have Jared McCain over Josh Hart, unfortunately.
I think statistically Josh is doing a bit better, but he's also a starter.
Jared McCain is averaging less points.
But he's also a bench player, so it's hard to say. Honestly, I'm 50-50. If you want to take him, I won't argue. If you want to cut,
Uh, let's go ahead and cut him because we could get Wemby and Shea Brunson, but we also
okay.
could not get him.
Up next, we got Chet Holmgren.
Chet Holmgren.
Yep. How many? Do we have one more cut?
We have two more cuts.
Two more? I honestly am not a big Chet fan. Come playoff time, he's kind of not good. He gets
Mm-mm.
bodied by people smaller than him. He's not very efficient at shooting. So we okay with cutting him?
Yeah, I'm alright with cutting Chet.
All right, cut Chet. Next, OG Anunoby.
I'm okay with keeping him.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Not the greatest pick, but I feel like we can't waste our cut here, so I'm fine with that. Next up, SGA.
Well, I feel like that's an obvious keep. He'll get us the free throws.
It's an obvious keep as much as I don't like him. Next, Jalen Brunson.
Oh, so do we keep Jalen Brunson and cut Wemby, or do
I
we?
mean, I think Wemby's the only player better than Jalen Brunson left, and arguably Cat this year.
So do we cut Brunson?
In my mind, if we cut him and get a bad bench player, that's a bigger loss than if we keep him and miss out on Wemby.
So we're keeping Jalen Brunson.
I think so. What do you think?
Okay with that.
Okay. And our last player, Isaiah Hartenstein.
All right. Well, that was a good
Not a bad
poll.
player though. But honestly,
This is a
I
good list.
think this might be the best outcome. Yeah.
Now, now we have 7-foot players.
Yep. And I'm assuming they're like 7 foot exactly. Hopefully the first player will let us know. First up, Kristaps Porzingis. I think he's 7 foot exactly.
He's 7'2".
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm scared then, cause I don't know. I guess we should assume it's 7 foot or above. Honestly, I'm fine with cutting Chris Tapps
Yeah, I'm okay with cutting
because
some of these
even
players.
even at his best, he's not like amazing and he's extremely injury prone. I feel like anyone that's injury prone or sucks in the playoffs, it's an easy cut.
Hmm.
Next, Mitchell Robinson.
He's been doing pretty good in the playoffs defensively.
Yeah, not like the first player I would think of though for this category. Um, Honestly, I'm okay with cutting him though, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm okay with cut.
All right, let's cut him. Next up, Ivica Zubac.
Oh, jeez.
Now I'm really scared. I feel like we have to cut him, right?
I mean, we cut Mitchell Robinson, so
It's risky, but the only way in which this is a bad cut is if everybody on this list is like a non-starter or trash.
I mean,
In
he
which case,
did
it doesn't really matter.
he did average 14.4 points on almost block a game.
Yeah, I mean, he's not terrible, but I feel like we can do better.
So cut Ivica Zubac.
Up to you.
I don't know.
It's
I'm kind of
risky.
scared to cut three in a row.
Yeah, but I think he planned for that.
So we'll cut Ivica Zubac.
Yeah, let's do it. Next up, Lauri Markkanen. I think we gotta take him.
Honestly, maybe the best guy so far. Anyway,
In terms of points, for sure. So yeah, I don't hate that. All right, next, Nikola Jokic. Easy take, unless you have an argument
nope.
for cutting him. Next up, Joel Embiid. Ooh.
Oh, that's kind of tough.
Yeah, another injury-prone guy.
I mean, he did have a good playoff run.
I think we gotta take him, even though he's injury-prone.
All right, we can take Joel Embiid.
Zach Edey.
All right,
We
that's a
gotta cut.
cut. I'm glad we took Embiid.
Yep. And our final player that we have to take, Jacob Poeltl.
So the only person I probably would have taken out of the cut list,
Probably Zubac
probably,
or Robinson.
yeah.
Poetl's not terrible. He averages about 10 points a game. Pretty similar to those other two. Maybe not as good defensively, but yeah, I think I'm kind of happy with this list.
Yeah, I like it. I think we did pretty good overall.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single one that we outright did terrible. Our worst one was probably our first one, but even then that wasn't bad.
Hmm.
All right, that was fun. We might have to do that again. Let's move on to the ball and order segment. So, you may or may not know him. If you don't know him, that's kind of sad considering he's basically widely considered the GOAT of all sports. Greater than Tom Brady, greater than Michael Phelps. We're of course talking about Joey Chestnut. How many times is he a champion?
I don't even know. I think it's at least 10.
Let me look it up. 17 times.
I thought it was 17, but I didn't want to say that because I was like, well, the Lakers and the Celtics were tied for 17 a couple years ago.
Alright, so 17-time hot dog eating contest championship winner, I guess. Joey Chestnut.
Don't forget the goat of drinking Badlands chugs.
Well, he's not relevant to this though.
He's not relevant to this, but it's relevant to what he does.
Uh, Anyways, a while back, he was accused of slapping a man on the face during a night out at an Indiana bar. Uh, he entered a guilty plea deal on April 20th and was sentenced to 180 days of probation in Hamilton County. However, a judge recently allowed him to travel out of state, allowing him to defend his title. So, yeah, did not expect to see a headline of Joey Chestnut in trouble with the law. But there was that one instance of that fan running up on stage and he kind of manhandled him a bit.
Yeah.
So maybe we should have saw this coming. But yeah, if we find out if he wins, we will definitely update you on that. Go ahead.
All right. And then we have a little bit of news on Eagles linebacker Nolan Smith Jr. He was arrested on Friday and accused of speeding and reckless driving in Georgia. No surprise there, as he's a former Georgia player. According to notes taken by a member of the sheriff's office that night, Smith was clocked going 135 miles per hour in a 70-mile-per-hour zone, so nearly double the speed of the speed limit on the interstate at 10:41 p.m. Smith made bond and was released about an hour after he was booked, and a court date for the case is set for July 14th, and Smith would not need to appear if he pays the fines associated with the citations. Smith is the latest and former or current Georgia player to be arrested for driving offenses. His Eagles teammate Jalen Carter was given 12 months probation and a $1,000 fine in 2023 after pleading no contest to misdemeanor charges of reckless driving and racing related to a crash that killed former offensive lineman Devin Wilcock and a recruiting staffer Chandler LaCroix. So they kind of moved away from the reckless driving for a couple years. And then Nolan Smith came along and he took care of that for him, put him back in the conversation.
Unfortunately, a very common thing with Georgia players. And Rays shortstop Wander Franco was declared criminally responsible for the sexual and physiological abuse of a minor, but he will not serve a sentence for it, a Dominican judge ruled Monday. In his decision, the judge considered that Franco had been the victim of extortion and blackmail by the minor's mother, who was sentenced to 10 years in prison for sexually trafficking her daughter. It seems contradictory to declare criminal responsibility and at the same time exempt him from punishment, the judge said. The court has granted Franco a judicial pardon due to the particular circumstances that made him a material victim but not a legal one. The judge justified the judicial pardon as a logical and legal reasoning. Franco was arrested in January of 2024 after being accused of having a 4-month relationship with a girl who was 14 at the time and transferring thousands of dollars to her mother to consent to the illegal relationship. The full sentencing will be on June 16th. That's the first I've heard of this situation.
Yeah, definitely a crazy case.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. When I was first reading the first part, it sounded like he like didn't know about her age and the mother was like using her for gain.
Hmm.
But at the end, it sounds like he did know about it and was paying her to keep it secret. So I don't see why they both don't get in trouble.
I'm wondering if those are two different cases. If he had a situation in the past where he had a relationship with a girl underage, and then this most recent incident he didn't know, or something like that.
No, I have to assume this is referring to the same person. But obviously with the full sentencing happening later, maybe he will end up getting in trouble. I don't know. But that's crazy.
Hmm. After a complaint on May 23rd and a subsequent investigation, Josh Jacobs was arrested Tuesday morning and booked into Brown County Jail on 5 charges: battery slash domestic abuse, criminal damage to property slash domestic abuse, disorderly conduct, which is domestic abuse, and strangulation and suffocation and intimidation of a victim. He was later released today on Wednesday on no charges at this time.
Yeah, unfortunately another common thing with the NFL.
So very unfortunate because he's actually a decent running back.
And that's all we got for Ball and Order. Let's move on to the college football segment. We only got a couple things today. LSU is hiring Ed Orgeron on Lane Kiffin's staff there. Orgeron led LSU to the 2019 national title as head coach and has decades long relationship with Kiffin.
And the NCAA has denied Texas Tech quarterback Brandon Sorsby request for reinstatement for eligibility for the 2026 season. Sorsby has completed his 35-day inpatient rehab for his gambling addiction at Algamus in Goodyear, Arizona. So he's set to return to campus in the upcoming days. His court date is June 1st in Lubbock County.
So I'm assuming he feels like he's not good enough to make the NFL because he seems very dead set on going back to college.
Well, unless he's trying to get his degree and then try to make something happen in the NFL.
Maybe. I guess it's possible. And a group of U.S. senators introduced a new and wide sweeping legislation Wednesday that aims to address many current issues in college sports, including an effort to restore some rulemaking powers to the NCAA and open the possibility for conferences to sell their lucrative television rights as one large group. The Protect College Sports Acts, written after months of negotiation between Republican Ted Cruz and Democrat Maria Cantwell, will provide the NCAA with an antitrust exemption to enforce several rules that have been challenged in court in recent years. Those rules would include limiting athletes to transferring schools only one time without penalty, limiting athlete eligibility to a maximum of 5 years, prohibiting former professional athletes from playing in college, prohibiting schools from poaching a coach from another school during the sports season. The bill would give the NCAA and College Sports Commission legal cover to enforce a spending cap for how much each school can pay its athletes. Overall, those changes seem pretty reasonable. So,
Yeah, I think it'll put college back into a better conversation, I guess. I don't know how to word it, but into better standing, maybe, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah, hopefully we can see the impact of that soon.
And then moving on to our NFL segment, we have some signings for this week. Matthew Stafford and the Rams reached an agreement on a 1 year, $55 million extension worth up to $16 million with incentives. Stafford now has 2 years and up to $105 million remaining on his deal with the Rams.
The Lions signed Jack Campbell to a contract extension,
And the Giants have signed general manager Joe Schoen to a multi-year contract extension.
and Nico Collins and the Texans reached an agreement on an adjusted contract that guarantees his salary the next 2 seasons and also includes a $9 million cash increase this year, as well as a $8 million cash increase the next year.
And Derwin James now has become the highest paid safety for the second time in his career after agreeing to a 3 year, $25.2 million per year extension that includes $57.5 million guaranteed, which I believe that was to the Chargers, is where he signed with.
I haven't actually heard much about him. Do you think he's worth the money?
Um, I mean, I still think he's playing at a high level, but he's not, I guess, not as mentioned. I mean, he had 3 interceptions this past season and 2 sacks, 44 assisted tackles. So kind of a slower year, but still getting the job done, I guess.
And a little fun fact for you guys. In 36 straight NFL seasons, at least 4 teams have made the playoffs that didn't the previous season. So this year, that would be the Seahawks, Jaguars, Bears, Panthers, 49ers, and Patriots, who all of them missed the playoffs in 2024.
And then some eligible teams for this season are the Falcons, Bengals, Cowboys, Browns, Commanders, Lions, Chiefs, Raiders, Dolphins, Vikings, Saints, Giants, Jets, Buccaneers, Colts, Cardinals, Titans, and the Ravens. Which I could see it happening again with the Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals, and Lions potentially making it.
Yeah.
Maybe even the Giants because they had a pretty good draft.
This is kind of a weird stat though because you have what, 18 teams that miss the playoffs every season? To have only four, like you need only at least four of those to come back the next season. That doesn't seem that improbable. But yeah, that's it for the NFL. Let's move on to the NBA. We got some big playoff updates. So Joe Mazzulla ended up winning NBA Coach of the Year. He led the Celtics to a second seed in the East, which, by the way, most of that year he did not have Jason Tatum. And this is his fifth straight 50-win season. Kind of surprised the Knicks head coach or the Spurs head coach didn't win it.
Well, the Knicks head coach, I think they made the playoffs last year, so I can see why the Knicks didn't get it. But um, the Spurs head coach, yeah, because they didn't even make the playoffs last year. And also, um, maybe even the Thunder head coach because they had the best record in the league. But
Yeah, but winning 2 seed without Jason Tatum is pretty impressive, to be fair. And Joe Mazzulla is undeniably a pretty good coach, very smart guy.
yeah, very bland guy, or not bland, but he just doesn't care for your dumb comments.
Yeah. So kind of another follow-up on the trend that we've been seeing all year. This is the most watched NBA playoffs in 29 years. Probably in large part due to the Knicks and Spurs. Although I do know the Thunder have quite a big fan base, although they get a lot of hate. We don't have the numbers on that though, so we don't know how much
Yeah,
more.
we don't know how much.
But yeah.
And so, speaking of the playoffs, we have a little bit of an update for you. The Knicks swept the Cavs, and the Thunder won last night, so they currently lead the series 3-2.
Yep. And I heard that the World Cup is happening around the same time as the finals, right? In New York.
Yeah, game 5 and 6 of the finals.
So the Knicks could end up having issues getting to the game because they have like
Well,
special
Knicks
tickets,
fan,
right? It's like $98 to get a special ticket. You can only ride the trains if you have that ticket for the day.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying that Knicks fans actually prefer going to other stadiums because of how bad it is for transportation.
every video I see online of Knicks fans, they're always out in the street breaking things and screaming. So, I don't think they need to be in Madison Square Garden, to be honest. And you know what? Win or lose, New York is going to be all sorts of destroyed after the finals.
If they win.
No, I think win or lose.
Win
Let's
or
be honest
lose.
here. And here's a kind of a crazy stat, but worth mentioning. James Harden, we did already talk about this, has made the playoffs every year of his career, 17 for 17, but he has no championships. Uh, and there's actually some notable players who also kind of follow this trend from history. So we have John Stockton and Karl Malone, both with 19 seasons and 19 playoffs with zero championships. However, there is some historical players that have actually overcame this feat, such as Tim Duncan, who played 18 seasons, made the playoffs all 18 seasons, and won 5 championships.
Yeah, so hopefully James Harden can get it done because I saw Cleveland is wanting to bring him back next year. So,
I do think he has the best chance ever next year because, here, I'll bring it up right now. I saw something that was kind of surprising. Since 2022, the Eastern Conference final loser has always made the finals the next year. So in 2022, the Heat lost to the Celtics, and then 2023, the Heat made the finals. In 2023, the Celtics lost to the Heat, and then in 2024, the Celtics made the finals. In 2024, the Pacers lost to the Celtics, but in 2025, the Pacers made the finals. And then this year, the Cavs lost to the Knicks. So next year, in theory, they should make the finals. So this might be James Harden's best chance yet, assuming they keep him.
speaking of James Harden, he passed Magic Johnson for to go into 14th place for most games played in the NBA playoffs all time, which makes sense because he's played 17 seasons and been in the playoffs 17
Yeah,
times.
and he's only 2 away from tying Karl Malone and Danny Ainge. Is that how you say his name? For 12th. It'd
Yeah.
be a three-way tie for 12th. So, and the Knicks became the 13th team in NBA history to win 9 straight games in a single playoff run after winning Game 2. They have not lost a game in over a month. Yeah, they're kind of on a roll right now.
Yeah, they're currently on an 11-game win streak, which is the seventh longest win streak in playoff history right now. The Warriors hold first place with 15 back in 2017, so they could tie that win streak, but they won't break it. But that's if they sweep the Thunder or the Spurs, which probably won't happen.
Well, you never know though. If that game goes to game seven and there's some injuries and stuff, they could be pretty tired going into it, and I don't know if either of those teams could keep up with the Knicks' shooting efficiency. So it's possible. Also, the Knicks defeated the Cavs by 37 points to complete their sweep. So now they're making the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. And I believe they haven't won the finals since the 70s. So,
We'll see if they can play the Spurs in the finals. They played the Spurs in the finals in 1999, so I think that'd be pretty cool to see a rematch.
yeah.
And most of that Spurs team wasn't even alive for that playoff matchup, so they won't even know what it's about. Neither were we because we weren't born at that time. So I wanted to talk about the most dominant playoff run we've ever seen in the NBA by the Knicks. So in the first round, they destroyed the Hawks later in the series. At the beginning of the series, they won by 11 and 16, and then they won by 29 and, of course, 51, because we talked about that. In the second round, they just dominated the 76ers. They won by 39, won by 6. That was their closest game out of the whole playoffs that they've won. And then they won by 14 and won by 30 in game 4. And then for the Cavs, the Cavs just decided they were going to not play basketball after they were up in game 1. And so the Knicks won by 11, 13, 16, and by 37 in the final game.
Yeah. So this actually makes it the largest playoff point differential entering the NBA Finals in NBA history. For reference, the 2016 and 2017 Cavs had a plus 177 point differential. The 1987 Lakers had a plus 180, and then the 2017 Warriors, who was the previous record holder, was plus 196. This season, the Knicks are at plus 271. So they beat that by quite a bit. Now, obviously, the game is a lot easier in the current state to get a higher point differential because of 3 points, defense, and a lot of other factors, pace, etc. But nonetheless, that is crazy, and that's why I think the Knicks have a actually pretty decent shot at winning this finals, no matter who they play, especially if, like we said, that series goes to game seven and they're tired.
And then moving on to the Thunder series, the Thunder's bench players scored 76 points, their most in a playoff game since relocating in 2008 and 2009. And this was in game 3.
Yeah, and at one point they were scoring, I think, 51% of their points against the Spurs series, or in the Spurs series. So, clearly a high impact bench. Also, in Game 4, the Spurs had a 25-point lead, which is the largest by either team this series. The final score ended up being 103 to 82, and OKC shot only 33% from the field that game.
And then at this point in time, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has 120 free throws made during the playoffs. He also has only 114 field goals made in the playoffs. So he has 6 more free throws made than field goals made. I believe he had 17 free throw attempts last night and
Yeah,
16 made.
and a stat has been going kind of crazy online. Someone recorded uh, a couple different players during this playoffs. Number of falls on non-fouled shots, fouled shots, and then all shots. And really, the numbers speak for themselves. Uh, this was as of May 21st. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander fell 10.7% of the time on non-fouled shots. He fell 51.4% of the time on fouled shots, and then that means he fell 17.4% of the time on all of his shots combined, fouled or not fouled. That is higher than anybody else on this list. For reference, James Harden was 11.9 on all shots. Jalen Brunson was 9% on all shots. Donovan Mitchell was 8.4 on all shots. And Victor Wembanyama was 4.2% on all shots. The thing that really stands out here is the fact that he falls over 50% of the time on shots that he's fouled at. Yeah, seems to be getting the whistle called for him. I also saw a thing that's been kind of surfacing lately is people showing clips of Curry falling after he shoots threes and stuff. I think it's a bit uh, cherry picked because obviously if you show clips of only him falling, it seems like he does it a lot. I'd have to see the numbers to actually see how much he does it a lot. But there is a key difference. I think Curry falls somewhat because of his ankle issues. I think it's safer for him to fall than land on his ankles in a contested shot. And he also does not go to the free throw line like at all. So even if hypothetically all of those falls was him trying to get fouls, it's not working. So it's not really, I don't think it's worth comparing to SGA.
And then in games 1 and 2 against OKC, uh, Stephon Castle became the only player in NBA playoff history to record 20 plus turnovers over the span of 2 games. He had 11 turnovers in game 1 and 9 turnovers in game 2. But he was covering for De'Aaron Fox while he was out with injury, so he was playing the point guard position. And De'Aaron Fox
And
returned
I
in game
believe in
3.
game 3 he only had 2 or 3 turnovers, and I didn't look up game 4. So seems clear to me that while this is kind of a sucky stat to be the like record holder for, it does have some context behind it. I just don't think he's a very good point guard, to be honest.
So game 3, he only had 3 turnovers, or game 5, he only had 3 turnovers, and then game 4, he only had 1 turnover.
So much better.
So probably because he was trying to facilitate the ball while De'Aaron Fox was out.
Yeah, point guard is one of the toughest jobs in any sport.
Yeah, 1 turnover in game 4, so he's only had 5 turnovers since then.
And Victor Wembanyama is third all time for most blocks through their first 14 playoff games out of every player in NBA history. Number 1 is Dikembe Mutombo with 74 blocks. Number 2 is David Robinson with 55. And Victor Wembanyama is at third with 53 blocks.
And I did see that Wemby is actually on pace to break Tim Duncan's block record if he were to play like 15 seasons or something.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure if
I
when he's
guess we'll
older, if he'll be able to block it as much.
and really his career is undetermined right now because of his
Yeah,
height. Players around his height tend to have a shorter career.
true.
Moving on to some all NBA team news. So for the first team All NBA, Cade Cunningham, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, and Victor Wembanyama made it.
And for the second team, we got Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and Donovan Mitchell.
I saw a lot of people complaining that Jalen Brown didn't make the first team and that Luka and Cade shouldn't be there because they didn't meet this 65 game requirement.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair argument. I mean, Jalen
And
did
then
average more points, more rebounds, but less assists than Cade Cunningham.
and then for the All NBA third team, Jalen Duren, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Johnson, Tyrese Maxey, and Jamal Murray.
And for the all-rookie first team, we got Cedric Coward, VJ Edgecombe, Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, and Con Knuppel.
And then for the all rookie second team, Ace Bailey, Jeremy Fears, not Jeremy, Jeremy is his brother, Jeremiah Fears, Colin Murray Bowles, Derek Queen, and Maxime Renaud.
You know, seeing 2 Pelicans players on that all-rookie second team is kind of promising for them.
Yeah, they just need to pick up some key players in the offseason.
I don't remember what pick they have this year.
Let me see. NBA draft order. I
I
don't
don't
see a
think they
first
have a
round pick
lottery
for them.
pick. Uh-oh. They better have gotten someone good for it.
They traded their unprotected 2026 first round pick to the Hawks during the 2025 NBA draft. In exchange, the Pelicans acquired Derek Queen. So, I mean,
Okay, I mean,
he made the All NBA rookie team,
fair
so
enough.
I guess it was worth
It
it.
was probably worth it, but realistically, they could have ended up with a really good pick this year. So, it's hard to
Hmm.
say.
Yeah, let's see. Where'd the Hawks land? The Hawks landed at
Okay,
8.
that's actually not,
So,
it's not amazing.
mhm.
I don't know what Derek Queen went at.
Derek Queen went at
Oh,
13.
well,
So,
hard to say. It could have been a steal. Anyways, moving on. Wembanyama became the only unanimous first team pick this year. The last time
for
this,
all defense.
yeah, for all defense. The last time this was done was in 2021, 2022 with Bam Adebayo and Giannis. So the all defensive first team this year was Rudy Gobert, Chet, Holmgren, Asar Thompson, Victor Wembanyama, and Derek White.
And the all defensive second team was Bam Adebayo, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Dyson Daniels, and Cason Wallace.
And for the first time in over 2 decades, LeBron James is not on an All NBA team this year. After playing just 60 games this season, he missed the 65 game eligibility requirement for awards. He also is not prepared to take a pay cut to return to the Cavs. So, he will be entering free agency this offseason after spending 8 years with the Lakers.
So there was actually an update on this. He's waiting on a potential Lakers offer, and then he's going to explore free agency.
8 years does not sound right, but time
Yeah,
flies.
that time really flew by.
I will say though, I uh I think it would be in his best interest to probably move away from the Lakers. Honestly, the Lakers, it might be their best interest too. They can focus on building around Luca.
Well, I saw that there were talks about them getting Giannis and trading away Reeves, but that's not what Luca wants. Luca wants to keep Austin Reeves.
It would be cool to see LeBron and Curry team up.
Speaking of the Lakers, they are hiring former New Orleans Pelicans vice president of strategy and operations, Rohan Ramadas, as an assistant general manager under President Rob Pelinka.
And Kenny Atkinson will return next season as the Cavs head coach.
And the Atlanta Hawks are signing general manager Ansai Sala to a long-term contract extension and promoting him to president of basketball operations.
And now we're going to move on to our last segment, the miscellaneous segment. Tottenham hung on. Uh, West Ham ended up getting relegated after all. And one thing I wanted to say is I think I said this wrong last week. I think I said that the that West Ham had the better point differential. Actually, it was worse by like 12 points, I think. So that meant that the Spurs actually only had to do either a win or a draw this week. The only outcome in which the Spurs would have got relegated is if the Spurs lost and West Ham won. So all other outcomes, win, 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 draw, win, loss, etc. West Ham would have ended up getting relegated, assuming they didn't score like 13 goals. So West Ham actually won their game 3-0, and the Spurs won 1-0. So despite West Ham's best efforts and a pretty dominant last game, they unfortunately are getting relegated. The Spurs will hang on.
As many of you know, the Indianapolis 500, or also known as the Indy 500, um, was this weekend, and Felix Rosenquist.
I saw like no coverage of it this year or advertisements.
Oh, I was actually at Beer Barrel when it was going on, but I didn't watch it because we left before it started. They were
I
just
saw more advertisements for the Oscar Mayer weenie race.
Anyways, many people know what the Indy 500 is, regardless of if it was advertised or not. Uh, Felix Rosenqvist is the third Sweden driver to win an Indy, and it was also the closest Indy 500 ever by 0.02 seconds.
And on the topic of racing, some very big and sad news came out this last week. Uh, Kyle Busch unfortunately passed away last Thursday from severe pneumonia that progressed into sepsis. So there's a lot of talks about this online, lots of controversy. Uh, yeah, it's kind of sad to be honest, seeing how many people, in a sense, are making this about them and their crazy beliefs over the fact that someone who had two young children has died. Like I've seen a lot of people saying that it was vaccine related or this and that and all these crazy theories. And to me, that just seems very inappropriate given the circumstances of the stuff that happened. And it's purely speculatory on their part. So it's honestly kind of sad to see that.
Hmm. And then there was an event this weekend called the, what was it? The enhanced
Enhanced games, I think is what it's called.
enhanced games. And so basically, it was for people who did steroids and basically to compete against standard people. So, an American gold medalist, Hunter Armstrong, um, was in this race, but he did not partake in the drugs. So, while Armstrong took advantage of the event's super suits,
Which are banned in
he
normal swimming.
yeah, abandoned normal swimming, and he was able to win over the steroid taking athletes. He stayed drug free and kept his professional eligibility intact, earning a $250,000 first place prize in Las Vegas.
And he wasn't the only one to do this. I think some track athletes did it too.
Yeah, then there was two other athletes that won
Overall,
without
I heard it
steroids.
was like very bad and very unorganized. A lot of people have come to the conclusion that this shows that all normal athletes are on performance enhancing drugs. I don't know if I would jump to that conclusion. I think it's far more likely that this just shows that to be at like Olympic record level is
A lot of training.
it's like well, and it requires perfect genetics and stuff too. So you take these third rate athletes. I won't say third rate because some of them were like Olympic winners or performers. But you take these guys that aren't current record holders, you give them performance enhancing drugs, and surprise, surprise, they don't break records. I mean, to break a record, you have to have like perfect conditions, perfect peak, I don't know, performance leading up to the event, etc. So I think it's far more likely that this is just goes to show that I don't think drugs can improve people's I guess results as much as people would say. Now, are there a couple athletes that slip through the cracks that are on performance enhancing drugs in the normal Olympics and stuff? Yeah, probably, almost definitely. But I also think people forget about some of the advancements in like training technology nowadays. Things like high altitude training and whatnot. There's a lot of studies done on that, and they show tremendous effects. Um, so yeah. I kind of hope this event doesn't come back because honestly, it just sounded not good in so many different ways.
And then we have a little bit of hockey playoff news. So the Vegas Golden Knights swept the Avalanche and reached the Stanley Cup final for the third time in 9 seasons as a franchise. So congratulations to them. And the Carolina Hurricanes and Montreal Canadiens. That series is currently 2-1 to the Hurricanes.
Yeah, um, kind of surprised that the Avalanche got swept, considering how well they did in their other games. But then again, I don't know a ton about them. I don't know if they shot bad that game or what. But the Knights might be actually the favorites to win it all. Who knows? And our last little bit of news, Travis Kelce is officially joining the Cleveland Guardians ownership group as a minority investor. And yeah, that's all we got for you guys today.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yep, thanks for listening. Also, one announcement. We said last week that we had special plans in the works. Well, after some testing, those plans fell through. However, we are still looking into some other possible alternatives, so stay tuned for any updates on that. You got anything to add?
Nope, not that I can think of.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. Hopefully, the Spurs will be in the finals by then. And yeah, see you guys.
Yep, keep your stick on the ice.
I was just thinking that.